Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Diginachi sequence. We're excited to kick this one off today. Got the two homies, XRP Sean
What
and,
up?
and Crypto Heavy.
What's good?
What's up? What's up? Hey, we don't even have to tell you guys, it has been a wild start to March, and this next week is about to get insane. There are a lot of things happening in the world right now, macroeconomics and markets. We got oil spiking today, just as the markets opened over 20% in just the first 40 minutes. So there's going to be a lot happening. There's a lot. It's going to be a very, very interesting week. So yeah, we're excited that you're here, and we're excited to be chatting about this tonight. So what are your thoughts on what's going on, guys? Share some stuff with me.
Go ahead, Duran.
Hey, look, man, I'm just waiting for all the people who was talking crazy about Jake and the oil prices going up and this domino to fall. It's very quiet on X right now because a lot of the stuff he said is coming true. So I'm curious to see how this affects the crypto market. We already seen Bitcoin drop down under 66,000, I think. So it's going to be very interesting this week, man, watching how all the catalysts kind of like roll out. So could be positive, could be negative. We may be down for a little bit more pain in the crypto market, but I think that this is the bottom and we're going to start running from here.
Yeah, everything's kind of just stagnant right now. I know that market's just consistently down across the board, but yeah, oil has gone up to, would you say 109 right now?
Yeah, it hit 112, I think I saw today.
Yeah, it's been
Just wait
and
until
what
Monday, man. It's gonna get jumping. I think it's gonna go higher too. So like you see every oil company is closing down and not doing anything because they fear of getting bombed. So it's gonna go a lot worse before it get better.
But yeah, well, no boats are moving through the Strait of Hormuz, and we have seen several oil refineries already blown up in Iran. Iran is now bombing Dubai and their oil facilities. Like it's getting wild out there. Like things are actually happening in a sense. They're trying to say this is not a war, but it really is at a point where it feels like a full out war to me.
It did start to look like a war.
Yeah. Can it escalate further? Obviously. And I think it's going to. But, Trump's trying to say that this is going to be done and over with in a couple weeks, and then oil prices are going to come back down. I have a feeling that is not how it's going to go at all. Like,
Cap. I feel like it's cap.
yeah, I do, I
I
do
don't
not. Yeah.
agree.
Of course, I don't want to see people dying. I don't want to see the war, but I don't have any control over that. And it's just my personal opinion that this is going to continue to go on for a very extended period of time.
well, this is only part of the plan that's been in place for decades. You
Mhm.
know, it's let's go to Iraq, let's go to Syria. It's just all these dominoes that have fallen that seem to favor one country in particular that we're supposed to bow down to all the time. And it's crazy just to kind of take two steps back from it. You really hope that Trump is going to be doing some good things for the world, for the country. And now he's rescinded on a handful of his statements that he made early on. And, I'm just down to everybody sucks. They're all bad. Nobody cares about us. And we just have to worry about ourselves. And it's kind of disheartening a little bit, but hopefully we put ourselves in a good enough place and position to have some fortitude through all this craziness.
Facts. No,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I think the craziest thing about what's going on in the Middle East right now is everyone wants to think about oil, which is obviously, the thing that gets talked about, the thing that is easiest to think about. But the issue that doesn't get discussed is the water. The thing that you got to understand about these Middle Eastern countries like the UAE, Iraq, Iran, all these places is that they have a tremendously higher population to their fresh water supply for drinking water than really anywhere else in the world. And so what they have to do in order to have water is operate these desalination plants. Essentially, they have to take salt water and desalinate it in order to have fresh drinking water. Now, what we've seen happen over there already is some of these desalination plants are being targeted and being blown up. So if that continues to escalate and that continues to happen, like not only is this going to very quickly turn into an oil crisis where the price of oil continues to skyrocket, but we're going to see a humanitarian crisis over there as well, as people do not have, I mean, on top of like their cities and stuff being bombed, but we're going to see this civilian population not have fresh drinking water. And I think that's gonna add a whole other layer to this that, like, people aren't even thinking about right now. And so it is really gonna get wild and crazy over there. Like, we're already seeing stuff where we think like, "Oh, this is obviously extreme," but it's gonna only amplify even further. And I really just think this conflict is just beginning.
Yeah, we at the tip of the iceberg. I mean, you see they already like attacking like the cloud-based companies over there because they trying to attack the infrastructure of how we get information. So, I mean, I think this is going to be a lot more in depth than we think about just oil itself. Like you said, the actual civilians, the casualties over there that's going to have to deal with buildings being blown up, houses being disrupted, churches, fucking hospitals, and then not having water along with all the rest of the nonsense. I think it was like a black fog over there because they bombed one of the oil refineries over there. So like now their quality of air is even worse. So, you know, the people that's in those countries, they get the brunt of it, to be honest with you. And, you know, obviously we here for their regime that's supposed to be so bad, but like, you know, we don't know either way. We just know what we're being told. So
Well,
I'll be unfortunate.
exactly. We only know what they show us, and what they show us, I can't believe half the time, which sucks because that's the track record. And us conspiracy theorists have, my neck's been hurting recently from all these medals I've been wearing around my neck because it's just been so right this whole time. But, you know, so many people get caught up on all the little details that they spit out at us. And they're arguing about all these things that these highlighted points that we're told on the news. And if you can't take 10 steps back and look at it from afar, it's really hard to sleep at night, in my opinion. But when you look at what's happening as far as the Strait of Hormuz is concerned, we're looking at not only oil, but 80% of the world's resources travel through that strait. 80%. Think about that. That's everything. That's fertilizer, which is huge, huge. So, just the trickle down effect that we're about to experience is going to be huge. And we have to, we're the same as the dudes over there wearing green that are fighting for some country. We're just peons. They don't give a shit about us. And we have to be able to survive past that. And hopefully it doesn't affect us too much directly, but you have to think about the struggle that's been so real for the past 5-7 years that people just been struggling so hard just to get by. I put $100 in my truck today and sweet, I got 3/4 of a tank. Like, that sucks.
Hmm.
That sucks. But, people are, they have to choose between food or putting gas in their tank right now. And they don't care about us. The elites just don't care. I don't know if y'all saw the prayer that was happening over Donald Trump. It's just like, oh, cool, they're praying over Trump. And 3 seconds in, they're like, oh, pray for our troops over there. And it's just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck. They don't care about anybody that's going over there. Oh, 6 dudes died. No, no, no. Way more people have died. So many more people have died than we'll ever know. I mean, Iraq, how many hundreds of thousands did they kill in the first few years? And then here we are 15 years later, there were over 1 million Iraqis that died over there. I'm
Nobody.
sorry, but my life is not better than the next person's life, period. So it's just sad to sit here. There has got to be some sort of divine intervention that happens, period, end of story. These people definitely believe in Satan, so I don't care if you're an atheist or you believe in science or whatever, but these people certainly believe in a God and they certainly praise the opposition, which sucks. Everybody, you look at the list that just came out. Everybody that you can imagine that you've seen on TV or in movies or listened to on a record, they're all on that list and they all do the same thing. They all praise the same God, and it's not the one that I praise. It's sad, man. It's a crazy time to be alive, but I do.
The timeline, man, is the timeline that we living through is unprecedented, man. Like it really is one of the wildest times to like be a human and try to be, a good person and try to do what's right and look out for your family and friends and and all the things that, we got brought up to do. And when you look at TV, you don't see that. When you look at social media, you don't see that. Like what's looking back at you is very much negative, satanic type stuff that isn't what we, as we grew up as kids, that we looked up and saw our future to be like, to be honest with you. So, I look like deep in myself a lot of times, like for my kids, is like, yo, what can we do to like preserve them? Because like the future for them is, and I'm not gonna, I try not to be bleak, like they don't have a future, but it's like, if we don't start making changes now, like it's gonna be very hard for me to see us have a future where what we thought we would have, to be honest with you, because it's going down a really bad path, man. And it's like the dark is coming to the light, which we need that. But like the problem is the dark have all the control. They have all the power and they carry that shit and they don't want to let the power go. So it's gonna be a fight for good versus evil going into these next years.
Yeah. And I just want to reiterate on that. We talk about the future for our children. I've never been more excited for the future for our children. Like, I think that, we're experiencing some dark times right now. And I don't think the ending of it is around the corner in terms of, next week. But the thing is, it's darkest before the dawn, and it's darkest right before the sun rises. And so for me, I think the future that our kids are going to inherit after the next few years of probably some really crazy turmoil, between now and 2030, or who knows, I don't have a crystal ball, so I don't know exactly how long everything is going to take to play out. But I really do believe that at the end of this, we have a new era, we have a new world. We have people are continuing to wake up more and more every day. But there are absolutely a bunch of people that are still completely bought into the TV and like still think the news is somewhat relevant. And do they still think that like who you vote for matters? Like, absolutely. There are plenty of those people that still exist, but people are waking up and understanding that this is not a war that can be won through voting. This is not a war that can be won through who's in our government. This is not a war that can be won with anything really other than recognizing that this is a spiritual war. Like, this is a war over our souls. It's a war over our consciousness. It's a war over who we are as human beings. And the more people that wake up and realize that we can actually make massive impact through our everyday choice of what energy and what frequency we want to live in, because I can choose to be stressed. I can choose to allow these things to get me down. I can choose to allow these things to make me feel like there's no hope or there's no chance, or I can like, and because also another thing I see from people all the time is that I put the blame out there, right? Like everyone wants to blame something. Everyone wants to blame. It's like, oh, well, everything that's going on in Iran, or everything that's going on with these government officials, or everything, that it's the other driver on the road that did this. And now that they're the reason why I'm frustrated. Like, people have to start realizing that literally we are much more powerful as human beings than we think, because this body is nothing more than a body and we are spiritual, energetic beings. And our frequency, the energy that which we carry, vibrates so much further beyond space and time. Like, we can have a massive impact on the consciousness of humanity just through what we choose to be. How do we choose to exist? And I really think that like this is a spiritual war. It comes down to biblical times. Like, this has been prophesized, these things that are happening. Like, Sean was really like starting to tippy toe around the edges of like who some of these people are and what they're actually worshiping. But it is very clear in the Bible that there are groups of people that were people that God loved and chose, and they made choices, certain groups of certain ones of them, not all people, a very small percentage, I would even say, but they choose to worship things like golden calves. Like that's very much talked about in the books of Moses. And it makes God mad that people are worshiping these other idols. Well, we're literally talking about people that are worshiping Baal and Moloch. Like this isn't fairy tale stuff. And like, if you think it's fairy tale stuff, it doesn't matter because they don't think it's fairy tale stuff. You can think it's fairy tale, but they actually take this stuff extremely seriously. And Baal is known as a child or a god of child sacrifice. So, like, when they're blowing up schools and they're doing all these things, like Moloch is known as a transvestite, like literally, like this isn't something I'm making up. This isn't conspiracy. Like, this is what these people believe and what they worship. So it is literally their MO and their mission to completely one, make people have no morals and no values and no ethics. And two, for them to make these sacrifices in order to honor these deities for which they believe that if they worship, they will ultimately be able to conquer the good. But that's where I'm going to pull this 360 real quick on this long tangent rant that I'm on. But like in the Bible, it tells us that these things are going to happen and things are going to get dark and things are going to look really bad. And it's going to be easy to be scared. It's going to be easy to like fall into this place of doubt and struggle and anxiousness and worry. But as bad as it gets, it is a snap of the fingers and good is going to win. And that is what makes me feel so excited about the future is like, I know that there's some dark things that we're going to have to experience. And like this war in Iran, I really feel like is the beginning. It's not the beginning, but it's like, it's a clear indicator of like where we're at. But with that, there is a whole new world that is coming and it is going to be so beautiful and it's going to be so wonderful. And it is going to be filled with people that are filled with love and understanding and like high conscious vibrational beings who truly are here to do what is right and want to see what's good for everyone, and that world is going to be awesome. And I truly think that that is part of what cryptocurrency is bringing in. Like not all crypto, but the technology of crypto is going to allow for this new era of liberation, and this new era of liberation is going to come on the other side of some really interesting and not necessarily fun times to experience.
Well, the powers that be understand how powerful that we are. Manifestation. When they put a thought into your head and it goes through Project Mockingbird and the 2,500 news stations all publish the same thing. COVID. When that came around and they told everybody that they would get sick. Well, guess what? People that had been in their cabin, their house for a month on end, all of a sudden they got sick. They understand how powerful our minds are. When they say the storm of the century is coming, guess what? We manifest. They use us as their engine. They use our fear as their engine. They use our manifestation power. They use that against us. If we all chose to create a different kind of world tomorrow and right now, things will be different. If we all understood how powerful our minds are and how we're just one thought change away from changing our entire lives. They understand how powerful that is, and they use it against us every day. And so that's what our kids are taught in school. That's what the news teaches us at 5 o'clock in the evening, or whenever you turn it on. They're using our own power against us. When we finally understand how much of an impact just our thoughts in our rooms alone can be, we can change this world in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Well, they keep us divided though. That's why they divide and conquer us every day with the division, with the things that they say, with the narratives that they place out there, with the rally cries for this side or that side. And as long as they can continue to keep us fighting against each other, we'll never be in sync to be able to overthrow what we think what really happened. If we all literally thought, if we all saw like for the truth of what they're doing and stood on that and was like, you just like me, we come from the same place, the color doesn't matter, your religion doesn't matter, your political beliefs doesn't matter, but like you're just a human. You struggling with you and your kids just like I am, and we both want the same mission, a better life for our kids, for our family. Like it's not we're not so different when you really put it together, but they keep us divided with all of the other nonsense that's unimportant. Like it's the shit that doesn't matter at all because it doesn't change anything. It don't change how you get paid. It don't change how you live your family life. It just gets you stressed. It gets you your brain all twisted up, thinking that you got all of these enemies around you. When in reality, the people that's making the decisions, they're living in their ivory towers, living their best life. Their kids don't have to worry about shit. So, they keep us fighting amongst each other, like like you see in every movie. Like they herd us together and we fight against each other, but they sit up in their ivory towers and they live a great life and they puppet master us all the time.
I mean, our entire existence in our lives has been 98% of it has just been a lie. You look at some of the talking heads and some of the people that have passed, I mean, if you just do a little bit of digging into why some of those people are gone, I mean, I challenge you to go look up what Prince was talking about right before he died. Look at it. What was Anthony Bourdain looking into and talking about right before he died? Paul Walker, Anne Heche. All these people have been digging down the same rabbit hole, and just because people watch them and know them, they're all of a sudden unalive because of the truth they're finding out that we're now all collectively finding out. So it's only a matter of time before the collective really rise up, and that's just on an energetic level. We don't have to be loud. You don't have to go. You don't have to go picket. You don't have to do any of that. You have so much power sitting on your couch. I mean, you could rise up. That's cool and everything, but the power is in our own minds, and it's crazy. The corruption absolutely runs deep. Diving into that whole world, I guess we can pull it back to crypto right now. Is one of the things I saw yesterday was, Brad Garlinghouse said, we laughed at Chris Larson conspiracy theories back then. Then the files dropped, and holy shit, he was right. They were afraid of us.
Yep.
Why would the deep state be afraid of Ripple?
Yeah.
Ask yourself that question.
That's a question that everyone in crypto should be asking themselves right now, especially as people have spent the last 10 years talking trash on Ripple as if as if Ripple is the evil, as if Ripple is the cabal, as if Ripple is the insiders. Well, if that were the case, why is it that the deep state and Epstein are like literally, I mean, that's in the files and is very clear. And for Brad to go out on stage and actually talk about it, like I was honestly really surprised to see that
I
clip.
was too.
I just felt like that would be something that just, those of us that saw it. I did not feel like Brad Garlinghouse would be commenting on that coming out in the Epstein files. But I mean, also to his, to his right to do so, because obviously
It's public
Ripple
knowledge.
talked about in there.
It's public knowledge. Like it's one thing to speculate and come out and then be wrong or never find out, but it's a whole nother thing when everything that we assumed was happening really was happening. And now you can say, well, yeah, we thought it was a conspiracy theorist, but it turns out it was true. I'm sure they thought they had those same conversations we had. You know damn well they did. Like
Yeah.
they just couldn't say
Yeah.
it because they running a company. Like, so they can't come out and say this. They gotta have actual facts before they come out and say something. But now that he can kind of talk around it and kind of joke about it, like in a Brad way, like he always does. It's not very serious, but like at the same time, he's pointing the finger, like, yeah, we thought this was the case, and it's almost like a nod to all the XRP fucking influencers and people who talked about it for years because we've been hearing this and they laugh at us and say that we're full of shit and we're conspiracy theorists and blah 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 about XRP in the community, but in reality, the XRP community is a very woken community, very spiritually, very fucking in tune with what's going on out there, very spiritual community. And it's like the things that we hear, we don't do a lot of hopium. It's like, yeah, we speculate what the price could be based off the facts, though. It's based off what the charts, the facts, and what people are saying. It's not just some speculation that we think is going to be $100,000 and just saying random numbers. It's like, it's based off the data. And so we follow the data because we got smart ass people in the community who follow the pinpoints of what's going on. So to see it in real time, and Brad can give us a head nod, like, y'all was right, man. Yeah, everything we thought was happening, it was happening. And they really are fearful of like what Ripple is doing right now, because the Disney universe seemed like small now to me. It seemed like it's going to be way bigger than that. I feel like Ripple is going to be way bigger than.
Well, it's not a universe. It's a shift in the universe. It's a paradigm shift. Like, it's literally a whole new reality. And that's the thing, is that Ripple's currency, in the sense, and it's not Ripple's currency. It's just what Ripple's building on. XRP, the XRP ledger, is an honest currency. That's the thing.
Transparent.
It's an honest ledger. Is an honest. It gives the ability for complete transparency in everything of value to be transferred. There's no part about it that is like a shadow. Like, obviously certain things haven't been talked about because there's NDAs, and like you could try to say that like that's a shadow, but I mean in the shadow of like there's like this dark evil lurking there. Like, that's not the case when it comes to XRP. And like, I already knew that intuitively, but when you see what we saw in the Epstein files, that should make this very clear for everyone. And all the people that still want to sit on their high horse about Bitcoin or Ethereum or like any of these other chains, absolutely not. Like, Epstein and them are not talking about Solana being a threat to them. Like, it is XRP that is a threat to them. And why? Because it's an honest currency that that the deep state and these evil actors cannot manipulate and control. And that is even why Ripple put all of the XRP into escrow, because they knew it was the only way for them to protect the supply. The only way for them to protect the supply, because when JP Morgan went to Ripple's offices, several years ago, they were trying to buy the entire remaining supply of XRP because they wanted to control it. Ripple basically threw them a giant middle finger and said, "You're never going to get control of this, you evil banksters." And they put it in escrow so they could control the release of it as it was meant to, so they could control the release of it in a manner that was ethical and that could be done in a way that was honest. Like, that's what it's about. It's all about honesty. Like, when you see Brad, we've all seen that clip of Brad and Joseph Lubin going back and forth on that panel where Lubin's trying to go after him and be like, "Well, you guys have blah, blah, blah." And Brad's like, "Well, how much do you sell?" And Joseph's like, "Blah, blah, blah, blah. We sell when we need to." And no, but Brad's like, "Yeah, well, we're completely transparent about what we sell to order to get our business to function. And guess what? We sell in order to build on the ledger and make the ledger stronger. Nothing that we do is shady. Nothing that we do is hidden." And
As much as they try to say they doing it to dump on retail, it's like, that's weak hands, man. That's weak hands, and that's fusters that they put out there to say that shit.
We have to think. You got to think about this, guys. How many times have the opposition come out and said something about us that they're doing behind closed doors? You know, oh, Ripple's selling billions and to whoever, and meanwhile they can't even tell you where the billions of Ethereum went. You know, this is one thing I want to go back to as far as Brad's concerned. Is it's pretty bold to come out and talk about the files and conspiracies and that Chris Larson was right. My question is, has the page turned? Have the powers that be been crippled so much that somebody like Brad can come out and say that we were right and they are afraid of us? Would you say that if you weren't in a place that you would understand that you're protected, you're okay? Like, are we really walking into the light? Have they really been defeated? And are we on the backside of this spiritual war? You know, has God already won and we're just now starting to pick up the pieces and understanding? because for me, it's a lot more palatable to understand that the spiritual war has been going on for so long. And me personally, I think we've already won, and that we're just now starting to understand that that page has turned. Why would Brad be saying this if he didn't feel comfortable enough? I mean, all these celebrities have been killed, have committed suicide. Brad's a celebrity. He's a billionaire celebrity. And why is he this comfortable to be talking about these things? That's something you should be thinking about.
Yeah. He's been way more comfortable too with some of the stuff he's been saying. Like even about the Clarity Act, like he been very comfortable giving time frames, timelines, you know what I mean? And so I agree. I think that it's plausible that like we turn the page, that we, and he's in the room with the people that we talk about. So he's in the room.
Are we in the final days of this bullshit? Are we in the final days of these struggles before the meek really should inherit the earth? That's what it feels like to me.
Agreed.
We're on the precipice of such a huge change that, as crazy as it seems, we are so blessed to be alive in this time right now.
Yeah.
We are witnessing the greatest turnover and exchange in funds and riches in history, more than the oil boom, more than .com, more than any other time in history. This is the largest wealth transfer that we will ever experience in written history. It's here. What are your thoughts, Will? And I know you've had some really good conversations this week. You don't have to mention names or anything, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, man. Like the more people that I talk to in this industry that actually have the inside information and that really get it, it's like we're here, man. Like there's nothing to even be patient for at this point. Like, and that's the thing I would just anybody that actually does listen to this, like I might be talking about crypto right now, but I also mean just like in a broader context in your life. Like understand that it is not about patience. You have nothing to be patient for. Like you've already been given, like you've already been gifted everything that you could possibly ever imagine. Like all your dreams are about to be shadowed by how magnificent the blessings that you are receiving actually are. And to be an XRP holder right now and to be someone that has been in this project and seen the light for several years, I don't care whether you own 100 XRP, 100,000 XRP, a million XRP, your life is about to drastically change. And not just because of money. For those that think that this is about money, someone really smart this week said to me, money is the cheapest form of currency. It really struck me as I've thought about this comment several times because we all think that we need money in order to have the things that we want. And to a degree, that's true. Like I can't go and, buy a new house on, hugs and kisses from my daughter. But hugs and kisses from my daughter are an insanely more valuable currency to me than money. So to understand that where we're at in this shift in the universe right now, where we're at in this shift in the world and humanity and the world as a whole, like we are absolutely here for a reason. Like you're not here because this is meant to just be some small thing and you're going to somehow be able to buy a Lambo. Like you are here and you're involved in this because there is so much meaning and purpose to your life. And that's what's got me more excited than anything. Like, I don't even think I really answered your question, Sean. Like, this has nothing to do with, I've had some really cool conversations this week with several different people. And yeah, I don't want to talk about names or get into that because it just seems like I'm being, I don't know. The point is, we are at a precipice. We are at a point where nothing will ever be the same ever again. And when I say it's not about being patient, it's because I spent a lot of my life, even the last several years, feeling anxious, like anxious towards I'm so ready for what's next. I'm so ready for the success that I feel that I already know that I should have, or like getting caught in these comparison games of like, people already have this, or someone younger than me already has something that I don't, that I want, or like, and I don't mean material things even so much, just like other accomplishments in my life, or other things that I think I want to attain and have. But when to understand that you are really here in this timeline, and you are playing out the journey of everything that you could possibly ever imagine day to day. Manifestation isn't always like, people think I'm going to manifest and I'm going to have that thing like next week, right? It's not about that. It's not about a timeline. Like, in a quantum reality, which is what we live in, and people that don't understand quantum physics, to try to make it as simple as I possibly can, like, to understand quantum physics is to understand that time is just a human construct. Like, we experience time moment by moment, and then we put a clock up on the wall and say like, oh, it's this time in the day. But time is just a human construct. In actual reality, there is no past, there is no future, things are. And so time is actually a continuous loop. And I'm probably going way off topic, but like, everything that is meant to happen to your life and meant to happen to you and that you were meant to attain and have happens at the exact moment that it is supposed to. And when you can embrace that, there's nothing to be anxious about anymore. It's not like you're not chasing anything. You're not grabbing for anything. I don't ever feel like, oh, like I need to work harder for this, or I need to like do that. It's like, no, of course I'm not lazy, but at the same time, there's no amount of like extra work that I can do right now to obtain the things that are already coming to me. Like, I am meant to live my life day by day, doing the exact thing in that day that I'm meant to be doing. And so are you. So is everyone. And oftentimes that means, a great example right now. You guys know me. You guys know my life. I have a 9-year-old daughter who's almost 10. I have the pleasure to have her and homeschool her, just the two of us. Like, I have that opportunity in my life right now. Guess what? If I had $100 million protein bar brand that required me to be working 70 hours a week or something ridiculous, I wouldn't have the opportunity to be so fully present and build the relationship with my daughter that I get to right now and that I've gotten to over the last several years. So for me to think like, oh, I wish my protein bar brand was already $100 million company. And I'm speaking from like real life example of like things that I think about and things that, have caused me stress, right? Like, I think I want like, oh, why is my protein bar brand not like huge, like something else? Like, I'll compare it to someone else's company or something. But it is 100% because it is not the time for my company to be that big. Because what that's going to require of me when it gets there is going to be so much different than what is required of me now. And what is meant for my life now is to be doing the things that I love, to be spending so much time with my daughter, to be building community, to be like, the things that are meant for my life right now are the things that I'm doing right now. So I never feel this need to be anxious, or I never feel this need of like, oh, I just have to be patient. It's like, no, it's not patient. I literally am 100% fully embodied in the exact manifestation of my life that my life is meant to be on March, whatever today is, of 2026. And when you can get to that realization, we can all get to that realization, it is the most empowering thing ever. And I feel like I was already there, but like, this last week has been mind blowing to me. Like, it is, and not mind blowing is not the right word. This last week has been just like full embodiment of that. Like, I don't know that I could feel more content and like happy than I do. And I want everyone else to have that. Like, and I really think that just comes down to like trust and like love and fully embracing your life exactly as it is right now and understanding how much of a blessing that it is. I don't know. This has nothing to do with crypto.
Nah, that's real.
Well, it has nothing to do with crypto, but it has everything to do with consciousness. You know, fortunately for digital assets, that is a large part of the community. But we're talking about understanding that this life and the time is, we see time as linear. But when we're just energy beings, energy bodies, what do we see? I don't think we see time as linear when we are before this life. I think we see what happens in our entire lives before we enter this life. I think we chose exactly what this vessel represents. We saw it all before we chose to be this person. And my God, am I so blessed? Are we so blessed to have the family, the friends, the children that we have? It is truly incredible what we chose to be a part of. And I'm so sorry for some of the people that have struggled so hard, but from all the things that I've read in this life and all the spiritual bits that I've caught, maybe because life was hard is because you knew what you had to learn. And if that is that final stretch of the race, if that is the hardest time to push through, you chose to do it because you knew you were capable of doing so. Here we are. Things have gotten so crazy. Shit is so hard across the board for all of our friends and family. But here we are. We chose this place. You chose your daughter. Duran, you chose your kids. We chose our family. We chose our dogs. They chose us. It's a crazy time to understand what we chose as an energy being, because that's all we are. Whatever this place is, whether you think this world is flying 6,000 miles through, whatever. If you think this is a simulation, doesn't matter. We chose to be here in this life to learn the things that we're learning. And this time to be alive right now is so important. It's so important for you to spend time with your daughter at home. I've been around your daughter. Holy cow. For the friends of mine that have spent the amount of time you spent with your kid, holy shit, their kids are amazing. Amazing. And that's what it should be. It's like, John, I can't wait to meet your kids, but they're
Yeah, bro.
badass. So it is so important just to be here in the moment, to be present, to understanding what we're going through, to not be affected by it, to understand how powerful our minds are. Like, it's so important for us to do daily mantras, to tell yourself how amazing we are, how much we love, how much abundance we experience on a day-to-day basis. It's like we get we feel like our backs are to a corner. And all of a sudden, oh my God, here's this new contract here's this new job, here's this new income stream that came. And it's because we have faith, we put ourselves in those positions, and you can't be negative all the time. You can't constantly say, I don't have enough. You constantly have to remind yourself, I have more than enough. And I'm so abundant. And this is the time that we've been smart enough and blessed enough, for first and foremost, to have put ourselves in the position, and not only digital assets, not only real estate, not only all this other cool shit, but you've put the time in with your family. You've put the time in with your daughters. You put the time in with your sons. That's what's important. Period. End of story. That you can't take any of this cool shit with you when you go.
Yep.
None of it. But what you can leave and what you can do is you can change somebody's lives. I don't care what you got in your wallet. If all of a sudden you feel compelled to give this dude on the street corner every fucking bill in your wallet, and you do it, yeah, I might have changed that dude's life for today. But man, does it feel good. Does it feel good to have some sort of impact? And that's what we're doing. That's what the XRP community is about. I've talked to hundreds of XRP holders over the years. Everybody seems to have the same understanding about our mission here. and that is to change the world. So what? The next person down the street doesn't have what we have, but guess what? We don't need but so much. We share. That's what we do. It's what we do as men being the stewards in this new world. That's our responsibility, and that's what I've experienced in the XRP community. That's the understanding. I can't wait to change the world. That's what we're here for. How cool, how awesome, how blessed are we? Like, we
100%.
had a ton of what are we at, 45 minutes? We had a ton of notes to talk about tonight. I think we touched one of them out of the 12 or so. And that's just kinda how this show goes. Like, we're just real dudes met on a blessed occasion, and, like, that's just what this is about. We got 181 subs. Thank you all for making it this far in the podcast. Like, that's awesome. I think we got like 30 friends and family to sub for us, but that's cool. But we're here because we already talk on a weekly basis, and why not record it and share it with the world and try to help somebody else out? Like, that's so cool that that's part of our mission. And we're going to go to XRP Vegas. We're going to be there with 1,000 people, and that's going to be great. We're going to meet some cool ass people, but at the same time, we're just really just continuing to keep that fire lit in this community. Like, we got a cool thing going. I don't care if we have 1 or 180 subs or 180,000. Like, it's cool just to be able to sit in my cabin and talk to you guys and talk about how we're going to change the world
I
from the
just found
seat.
it's amazing though, man, because it's like when you just listen to you guys like both, and like just like this reflection of it, and it's like I remember like a lot of my life as a man, I was like, what's my why? What's my why? Like trying to figure that out, and I don't know, like everybody find a why different in different times in their life, So mine came like as I was growing into crypto, I realized like, my why was like I want my time. I wanted my time back because I felt like I wasted so much time away from my family, away from being present with my kids, away from being able to experience the things that they get to do that I can't get back, those memories, those moments. And when I started realizing that, it was like, all right, cool. Like, how can I position myself to be in a place where I can control my own time? Like, I don't want to have to clock in and clock out. I don't want to have to worry about somebody else telling me that I can't go on vacation with my kids or I can't be there for a soccer game. And so just listening to Will and then listening to you, Sean, like y'all kind of talk, it's like we all kind of came to that conclusion in our own life and our own spiritual journey, right? Like everybody had their reason behind it, but in a lot of cases, it's just because we want to be able to impact people in a way by giving our time, giving our energy, giving our love, our positivity, our support, not money, not, crypto. We give the conversation about crypto because we're passionate about it. We love it. But it's like a journey that we all traveled and we met each other. But then the commonalities of what we stand for as men is similar, right? Like the way we think. And it's like that for the whole XRP community. You can run into anybody at the XRP Vegas and have the same conversation. But us specifically, like we just kind of just mesh together along with Phil. And it's like, it's just listening to y'all talk about that, Will going like about like his time with his daughter and everything. And it's like, yo, like that's similar to like why I like got into crypto, why I wanted to find a different way out of just the normal, like putting your money in a savings account, trying to do this, trying to do that. I did the same thing, Will, got businesses that I'm like, why can't it pop? Why can't it go do this? And it's like, you go through all these ups and downs, but in reality, like you just want to be present for the people that you love. You want to be there when they need you, when you can. You don't want nobody to shortchange it. And so like the time that you give out to your people is like the most important thing to us. And it's just a real feeling, man. Like just like listening to y'all, I'm just like, yeah, that's why we here, man. Like this is the reason why we on this podcast together. This is the reason why we have these conversations. This is the reason why we joke and give each other shit and go through the things that we go through, because like it's like mindedness type of people just grow together. And so like we will have an impact no matter what, like in our lives together and collectively, individually, for the people that we support and that we have in our energy in our space. So it's dope, man.
What you guys do as fathers and as parents You have no it's hard to understand, I should say, how much of an impact you will have on your great, 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 great granddaughters and grandsons. What we do today, that's why we can't go out and buy 100 Lamborghinis and just call it good.
Maybe just one.
Maybe just one. But, there's so many stories of, like first oil discovery in Texas. You know, some of those guys took percentages on wells versus taking money up front. That was 100 years ago. They had no clue how much they would be helping their great, great, great grandkids. But some of those people made those sacrifices, still lived a good life. I mean, shit, it was depression, but somewhat of a good life. And they couldn't understand how much they'd help the future generations. And if you're blessed enough to be part of that pool, cool. I know that our great great grandparents that's why we're here. No matter what kind of money or resources they had, they pushed through and we're here today. So we are the trophies of our great great and all our ancestors. So it's so important to make solid moves in this life and to understand, where money can hold up. We've all started businesses, all of us here. Robert Kiyosaki talked about it 20 something years ago on Rich Dad Poor Dad. If you don't start 10 businesses and fail all of them and then finally hit something, like you're not doing it right. I think I'm on business number 10. I'm not sure. If I'm not close to that or past that, whatever. But we
You even count it.
it would be painful to count because then I would look at how much money was spent and how much money is just But at the same time,
All
I
that could
do.
have been XRP. Yeah.
Yeah, but where would I be? Where would I be?
Yeah.
Had I bought that 33 Bitcoin in 2011 and didn't spend it on nefarious late night things, where would I be? It's like I could have a whiteboard up that shows me that that's worth $2 million right now, or at one point was worth 4 million. But where I wasn't ready. None of us were ready in 2011 to experience that kind of wealth, and some years ago I did tell my mom that happened and we had some 33 Bitcoin and we spent it on partying. And she was like, "Why didn't you tell me? I would have sunk this much money into it." But, we've had so many conversations since then and she's like, we weren't ready for that kind of wealth, period, in the story. Because we would have had thousands of Bitcoin. It was $3 when I first bought it. What an idiot. We put $100 into it at $3. And we bought some cool things, went to some concerts, had some great times, and then it went to $30. And oh my God, we have $100 in Bitcoin again. Let's go. And then we buy some more things that help us have some great concert nights. And we still had like some 0.9 Bitcoin left over, and we spent it on some keychain. I'm fucking serious. So, but we
Was there,
weren't ready for that.
It's the timing of like what you're saying, man. Like I mean that really just wraps up a lot of even like what Duran was saying and what I was saying earlier. Like it is all divine timing. Like when you can look at everybody else and be happy for everybody else's success because you're not worried that you haven't gotten yours yet. Like that's when you win. Like that is really when you win. And it's like, because I might not think I've gotten mine where I can go out and buy a Lambo or like, go on, a year-long vacation with my daughter or like whatever. But also I live in a place that basically like I basically am on a lifelong vacation. Like I can hike and ski and like do cool stuff all the time. Like I have made it. Like I have gotten mine. Like mine has been got. And these next few years, it's like earlier, Duran, you were saying that, it's that you want more time with your kids. Well, great. You're going to get that. And you know what else that means? We're never going to have as much time as we have with our kids now. But the more time that we invest in our kids now, the more time we're going to also have with them later. because the closer that I am with my daughter now, when she's 16 years old and she's dating boys and like driving on her own and like however that progresses for her, right? She's not going to spend as much time with me as she does now at 9, almost 10, or when she's 12 or 13, 14. But when she's 20, because we're so tight, she's going to still want to go do things with me. When she's 25 and wherever she's at in her life, when she's at a point where she's got a husband and she's starting to have kids, guess what? She's still going to want to spend a lot of time with me because I put that time in to have such a close bond and relationship with her now. And so, yeah, I'll never get this time back that I get to spend with her, but it also is paying dividends into the future of how much time I actually get because I'm pretty close with my parents. Like, I know, Sean, you're very close with your mom. Like, Duran, I don't know your relationship with your parents as much. But my point is, we all know those people that have like no relationship with their parents, right? Like, we all know them. And there's a lot, like, and there's those like extreme people that like really don't have a relationship. But I would say, almost even as sad as it is to say, like, the majority of people, once they're our age, don't talk or hang out with their parents much. Sometimes I even have to remind my mom. I'll be like, Mom, I talk to you at least a couple times a week. Like, she's like, "Oh, worry, like what?" I'm like, "Mom, like, I love you. I talk to you. Like, if you could just like have a little perspective, like how much everybody else doesn't talk to their, but from her perspective, she talked to her mom every day until her mom died. So it's like, so it's all relative, right? But like, that's it, man. Like, winning is so much more than money. And all that money really does is up to at a certain point, you've got that freedom. And then from there, it really is just like, how can we give and like share love and share the abundance? Because abundance is so much more than money. Like, abundance in our life is so many different verticals. And
Life is short.
yeah,
It's so important to if your life was a garden, it is so important to be out there every day and to be mending it, to be watering it, to be caring for it, to be pruning back, to be doing what you need to have a healthy garden. And I've been blessed enough to have great relationships with both my mom and my dad. It's a wonderful thing to have that kind of security and that kind of comfort and that kind of feeling. And not everybody's lucky enough to even have their parents around. It's like I built a fantastic relationship up with my wife's father. And that was big because I had to earn it over years and years. And finally, he finally started texting me and closing out his texts with dad. And that was cool as shit. And unfortunately, he passed away last year, and that sucks. It hurts, but man, was it big. And for the time that we do have here, being, it's just like every day is so important to be just good
Mhm.
and just to be smart. And so, whether I live through the night or not, it's like I will feel fulfilled with what I did here and with the relationships that I had maintained and earned and lived through. It's just crypto is awesome. We could be all millionaires tomorrow and that would be fantastic. Great. We get to help our families out. We get to change people's lives. That's awesome. But what we do on a daily basis, how we treat ourselves, how we treat our loved ones, like that is just so, so important. And it's just, it's such a blessing to be able to talk to you guys because we think, we're in alignment. We're brothers from different mothers, and it's just so badass that we get to have these kind of relationships, this kind of depth in a conversation. Like we're about, we're passing an hour or so in this podcast. And again, we've only talked about one thing on my list, which is great. It's like nobody's paying us to say anything. We don't have sponsors.
Tennessee.
We've got Genesee Nutrition, which is Will's company, which again, my company has done a lot of work for him and with him, which is great. And it's a cohesive thing and we love working with Will and that's great. It's at the end of the day, it's like, did you do what you love to do? Did you love as hard as you could? Did you forgive as much as you possibly could? That's what matters. And here we are. And I feel like the three of us and Phil and a lot of our really close friends see eye to eye on a lot of these things. And it's such a blessing to be in this space with you guys and to be able to look forward to this once a week and, maybe coming soon on Wednesdays too. I don't know. But if you made it this far in the podcast, God bless you. Go ahead and like that video and hit the notification bell or whatever. But it, we're so blessed, guys, and to be able to have just a computer to be able to use to do this and to put ourselves in a position like I got a really cool camera and a really cool mic. That's awesome. Fake brick background that it took me a day and a half to build. And Will, you've got an actual brick background today. So, what a blessing. It seems like you're sitting in a 100-year-old chair. Like, that's cool as shit. Like, guys, we're doing amazing things. We're alive in this amazing time. And yeah, I mean, we could go on for another hour and I'd still be cool.
I was going to say what the cool thing is. My parents, they live in Vegas. When we have to get them out, yeah. Every time I go to Vegas, I stay with my parents. So I got the hotel last year, but usually I stay with them because I take my kids there.
Well,
And kick it with
why aren't we hanging out with your parents, Duran?
Yeah, man. No, yeah, I have to get them out when we go out.
Oh man.
We crashing on parents'
Look,
couch.
I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there 2 days early and stay at least 1 to 2 days late. Like I'm gonna meet your parents. Period. I gotta meet the people that raised such a beautiful man.
Yeah, man.
All right.
No,
Well, it's probably time to wrap. I'm seeing a minute or at least an hour here. Maybe if y'all aren't doing anything on a Wednesday, we can come back and just yeah. I mean,
I'm down.
I can do Wednesdays.
Yeah. I can do Wednesday evenings. And yeah, we got the live feature ready. So we can start making this show actually live like the way that we really
Unedited,
always intended.
unedited, filthy.
It's a live stream.
I'll start to really watch what I say about noses and ears and shit. And hopefully we won't get so censored and nerfed.
Yeah.
But my wife was at a local restaurant and one of our friends was like, I keep seeing Sean's podcast pop up in the feed. Nice.
That's it.
Nice. It can't be that censored. Let's go.
Yeah.
Did it.
And maybe we can start releasing full episodes on X because seems like that's maybe besides Rumble is the next least censored platform.
Well, the thing I think and what I figured out today when I was playing around with it is we can start going live on all platforms. So we can start
Would it be
making
live on
this.
X?
Yeah, it can be live on X. It can be live on YouTube. It can be live on, I think, some of the others. So, like, it could be live on LinkedIn, possibly.
When you do that,
Nobody's on LinkedIn, dude. This shit's gay. Come on.
Can we collab with that, or is it
On LinkedIn.
will it let you collab with it? Will
I'll figure it out. I don't think the live can be a collab. So the live would have to be just the Diginachi, but then we'll get all the shorts. We'll get all the shorts from it like we always do. And
yeah.
obviously I can post those and those can be collab. So, but the live would have to just be live from Diginachi, which, it's cool. Like, I think because the other thing about it, and somehow this is making it into the episode. This is like after episode talk, but
Yeah,
everyone,
shout out Scott Bottoms. Let's go.
shout out Scott
Had to
Bottoms,
get it in, man.
baby.
Had to get it in, man.
going down the rabbit hole.
Going to the bottom. All right, what were we gonna say, Will? Before I so nicely interrupted you.
What was I gonna say? I don't know. The description, that's gonna be the hardest part about going live. But honestly, I think I'm just gonna make it really easy because I'll just have like a description that basically just says who we are, Ron. Because like usually the description comes after the episode and we kind of have show notes and stuff. But from this, it'll just be like, hey, it's just us friends. This is our show. We're going live.
Shout out Scott Bottoms.
Shout out Scott Bottoms. This is where This is where you can find our individual platforms. And that'll basically be the whole description of every episode. So, and I don't know, since we haven't done a live, like maybe you can add description after the live. We'll find out.
It's okay.
Maybe.
Maybe our show notes that we actually take in person will maybe they'll manifest into the episode somehow. I think we managed to get 6.5% of what we wanted to talk about on tonight's show.
We didn't talk about Flare DeFi. Just quickly, Zaman launched Flare DeFi and got 20 million XRP locked up in literally a week. And then now Uphold is about to do the same thing that Zaman Wallet just did. So all the stuff that I went on that whole tirade about in that one episode where the one homie was like, Will just talks over everybody. And I'm like, I'm so passionate about DeFi. Everybody's going to pretty much be able to do that within Zaman and Uphold, but like Zaman and Uphold do take a fee. So like you don't make as much as if you did it direct like I do, but it's a minimal fee. And for most people that aren't going to want to figure out doing it direct on chain like I have, it's definitely a really cool option for them. So there, we talked about it. We talked about the Flare DeFi.
Yeah, and Jim Cramer says that now is the time to sell, douchebag. And then banks somehow have a vote in our House and Senate. I don't know how. I never saw that in my high school government class. I didn't realize the banks had a vote, but since that's such a hot topic right now, thank you, banks, for voting against us being able to make money on, stablecoin holdings. And then what else do we have here? Hold on real fast. Elon says that X Money is about to cover half of the financial system. X Money uses what riverbank?
Cross River Bank.
Cross River Bank, which is a partner with Ripple.
Just Cross River Bank.
Yep.
Base and Uphold.
Yep. And then something about Peter Thiel and Japan. So I think we covered it all.
There, 100%. It's covered. Peter Thiel sold all of his stock except for his Palantir. He's completely out of the stock market except for his Palantir, and he just had meetings with Japan. Do we think that's because he's helping prepare Japan for the stock market to crash? There, we really covered it all, guys.
Boom.
Great. So all you got to do is watch the last 2 minutes of the episode
and get everything.
Probably the last 45 seconds. Well, it has been such a blessing to chat with you guys tonight. I'm so glad to end this whole thing on a 45-degree angle. I think it looks cool, whatever. And love you guys. Y'all are awesome. If y'all are available for a Wednesday thing, let's do it. Maybe Phil's available. Get him out of get him out of wherever he, drinking rum on a beach or whatever he's doing.
Well, let's make the Wednesday thing. Let's do the episode. Let's show the last few interviews from XRP Las Vegas last year we never showed because we've got some good ones.
Yeah, we got, I think we have Zach Rector and who else?
Coach JV. Dom Qual, Caleb and Brown, Boone from Web3 Industries. That's a really, that one.
Isn't there that Bree Teresi chick?
We have an interview with her.
We'll see you at XRP Vegas, Bree. And your sweetheart of a mom.
Sweetheart mom.
God, she's the best.
Yeah.
Shout out. All right, well, it's probably a good time to wrap it. Seems like we're running out of steam in a minute and 10, whatever. We'll edit it down a little bit, but love you guys so much. We'll catch you guys on Wednesday, hopefully. I'm XRP Sean, and
yeah,
so happy.
Will Carr speaks. This is the Diginachi sequence. Thank you, guys.
See you guys in a few days.